Last year, I passed all interview rounds for both Microsoft and Google after 6 weeks of studying. Today in this video, we're going to talk about the resources that I use to prepare, the best ones right now on the market, and some tips on how to pick the one that works best for you. Let's get started. Probably the most famous interview prep resource is Gail Lockman McDowell's Cracking the Coding Interview. The book was originally published in 2008, but has been republished every few years with new editions. The most recent edition, the 6th, contains 189 technical questions with solutions. This is a large number, but keep in mind that there are sections on very specific topics like QA testing, C, Java, databases, threading, and more. Depending on your level of experience and the language that you're going to be using in your interviews, some of these sections won't be worth your time. Overall, I believe that this book's biggest strength is the question selection. If you make your way through this resource, that will likely mean that you have seen every type of question that you could realistically encounter in a typical interview. In fact, last year during a job interview, I was actually asked one of the questions from this book word for word, and I know many software engineers who swear by this book and believe it's the best method of interview prep. There are, however, a few things about this book that lessen my enthusiasm for it. For starters, all of the solutions in this book are in Java. If Java is your language of choice, then this is great news. For me, however, when I began preparing for the interviews, I had been coding in mostly JavaScript for the previous 2 years and picked that language for all of my interviews. Although I am very familiar with Java, I would have preferred to see solutions in the language that I would actually be using during the interviews. The second con for me was the format. I began my interview prep with this book and only this book, but I found pretty quickly that I particularly disliked reading through coding solutions in a book. Most of my studying was done after a very long workday of coding, and it quickly became a hassle to read through a dry textbook about coding questions for 3 to 5 hours at a time. Additionally, given how verbose a language Java is, some of the solutions spanned 3 to 4 pages, which made the reading experience pretty clunky. Thirdly, I believe that using a book as your primary resource will most likely mean that you're going to get through less questions during your interview prep. The author suggests typing out all of your solutions in Microsoft Word so that you are more prepared for the whiteboard experience. However, I found that taking this approach takes a lot more time for each question, in my opinion, for very little gain. Some of the online resources that I'm going to discuss later in this video have testing and coding environments which can help you work through problems faster. More problems completed means more practice, which is a priority. To summarize, Cracking the Coding Interview is a well-regarded interview prep resource with great question selection. However, this book may not best fit your needs depending on the format that you prefer to learn through and what programming language that you're going to be using in your interviews. The cost of a new copy of this book is currently $35 USD. Another famous technical interview prep resource is the platform AlgoExpert, which is owned by tech YouTuber Clement. The interview prep service that the platform offers currently comes with 170 technical questions with solutions. The question selection for this course is very comprehensive, with a lot of the easy and medium questions being very similar to the questions found in Cracking the Coding Interview. During my own interview prep, after 2 weeks of reading through Cracking the Coding Interview, I adjusted my strategy and bought AlgoExpert. It's definitely one of the more expensive options that I will discuss today, and unlike some other online resources, cannot be paid for as a monthly subscription. This can be a good thing if you're going to be studying for a few months, but may be a downside if you only have a few weeks to prepare for your interviews. The biggest positive of this platform for me was the video explanation that comes with every problem. One of the issues that I mentioned with Cracking the Coding Interview was that I found it very dry, and I typically dislike using textbooks to learn computer science topics, preferring either video format or online documentation. The videos on AlgoExpert were very in-depth and in some cases were 40 to 50 minutes in length for the more difficult questions. Especially for questions that I struggled with, a visual, drawn-out explanation helped me much more than just reading a text description of the solution. This was a game changer as it meant that I didn't have to go find a separate resource if there was a problem I struggled with. All of my prep could be done in one place, which resulted in a more efficient process of studying. Another important feature for me, and this applies to online resources in general, is that I appreciated the ability to choose what language the solutions are in. As of the recording of this video, AlgoExpert has solutions available in C#, C++, Go, Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, Python, Swift, and TypeScript. Additionally, the platform has a coding environment where you can write your own solutions in the programming languages mentioned above and run it against test cases. Overall, AlgoExpert is a pricey but effective option for technical interview prep. It costs a little bit more than some of the other online resources, but in some cases, the detailed walkthroughs and streamlined preparation experience are worth the price. The most famous of the online resources that I'll be talking about today is LeetCode. LeetCode is a platform with thousands of coding questions and a huge community. In addition to having some questions with official solutions posted by LeetCode, there are also thousands of user-submitted solutions and somewhat active discussion sections, at least for the more popular questions. In addition to having a free version, there is also a premium version of LeetCode that includes courses, questions sorted by companies that have asked them, and video walkthroughs on at least some of the solutions. I would say to be wary about the company-based list. These questions come from people who claim to have been interviewed by these companies, but they are not verified, and the questions don't necessarily come from interviewers or other employees at these companies. Currently, the premium version costs either $35 per month or $159 per year, depending on which subscription you purchase. In my opinion, the main advantage of LeetCode is that you have access to a huge catalog of good coding questions and pre-prepared lists of questions for free. If you're looking for a free alternative to a subscription-only platform like AlgoExpert, LeetCode is definitely a solid option. However, there is obviously a disparity in quality. For example, not every question on LeetCode has an official solution provided by the company. A good number of official solutions are behind the subscription wall, and even then, most of the official solutions are only for Java and Python. I've seen a few with C++, but I've also seen some only in Python. As a result, you'll have to go through the user-submitted solutions, which are upvoted and downvoted by other users, but aren't guaranteed to be good quality. One last resource that I do want to briefly highlight is GeeksforGeeks. Now, they do have courses and paid interview prep, but I am much more familiar with their free articles on core computer science concepts. The beginning of my interview prep was mostly reviewing topics that I had not encountered in a long time. These included different data structures, common algorithms like Dijkstra's algorithm or Kruskal's algorithm, and many more things that you would typically encounter in a computer science university course. GeeksforGeeks does a great job of writing concise articles about these subjects, accompanied by helpful drawings and really helpful animations. Particularly when it came to relearning different sorting algorithms, the videos from this website really came in clutch. At the very least, I would recommend skimming through their articles to find topics for which you have forgotten the details. So although I've discussed a few interview prep resources here today, there are many more available both online and in written form. I understand how overwhelming it might feel with so many options and with so much on the line. Please just remember that the most important thing is to pick the resource that works best for you and to stick with that strategy. If you just master one resource, you'll be fine in your interviews. Thank you and good luck.